what would you attempt right now if you knew with absolute certainty that you could not fail? Close your eyes for a moment. Yes, right now. Picture that one goal, that one dream that makes your heart race just thinking about it. That goal you've pushed to the back of your mind, telling yourself maybe someday, or that's not for people like me. You know the one I'm talking about. Maybe it's starting that business you've been dreaming of. Maybe it's writing that book that's been living in your heart for years. Maybe it's transforming your health, your relationships, or your financial future. Now open your eyes. That feeling you just experienced, that flutter of excitement mixed with fear, that's not random. That's your potential calling out to you. And today, right here, right now, we're going to unlock it. I remember sitting in a small apartment 20 years ago, staring at a stack of bills, wondering how I would make ends meet. My bank account was overdrawn, my confidence was shot, and my dreams felt like distant fantasies. But in that moment of desperation, I discovered something powerful, something I'm going to share with you today. That success leaves clues, and after studying thousands of high achievers, after working with people from every walk of life, I've discovered that breakthrough success isn't about talent, it isn't about luck, it isn't even about intelligence. It's about understanding one fundamental truth. Your limits are not real. They're self-imposed and they're waiting to be shattered. Take Michael, for example. 3 years ago, he sat exactly where you're sitting now, a middle meter at a medium-sized company, drowning in routine, feeling stuck. Today, he runs a 7-figure business and speaks on international stages. What changed? Not his circumstances, not his education, not his connections. What changed was his relationship with his own limitations. Or consider Maria, a single mother of 2 who transformed herself from a struggling freelancer to the owner of a thriving consulting agency. She didn't discover some secret talent. She didn't win the lottery. She simply decided in one powerful moment that her current reality was not her potential. Your brain right now is processing roughly 400 billion bits of information per second, but you're consciously aware of only about 2,000 of those bits. Think about that. The power sitting inside your head right now is greater than any supercomputer ever built, and you're using only a tiny fraction of it. The question isn't whether you have the capacity to achieve extraordinary things. The science proves you do. The question is, what's holding you back? What invisible prison have you built around your potential? And most importantly, are you ready to break free? Because today, we're going to do something different. Today isn't about motivation that fades tomorrow. Today is about transformation, permanent, lasting change that will reshape how you see yourself and what you believe is possible. And it all starts with understanding the true nature of human potential. The most fascinating discovery in modern psychology isn't about what limits us. It's about how limitless we truly are. Think about this. Every single cell in your body contains more power than a nuclear reactor. Your brain has more connections than there are stars in the Milky Way. You are, quite literally, built for greatness. But something happens to us along the way. We start accepting other people's limitations as our own. We begin to believe that our past defines our future. Nothing, absolutely nothing could be further from the truth. Scientists recently discovered that our brains continue forming new neural connections well into our 90s. What does this mean for you? It means that right now, at this very moment, your brain is ready to create new pathways to success. Your past habits, your past beliefs, your past limitations, they're all just that, the past. Look at David, a client of mine who joined our program last year. For 15 years, he convinced himself he wasn't good with numbers. He believed this story so deeply that he turned down promotion after promotion that required financial management. Then one day, something clicked. He realized this wasn't a fact. It was just a story he'd been telling himself. Within 6 months of changing this single belief, he not only mastered financial management, but increased his department's profitability by 47%. What's incredible about human potential, it multiplies when you tap into it. It's like a muscle that grows stronger with each use. Every time you push past your comfort zone, every time you do something you thought was impossible, you literally rewire your brain for higher achievement. Consider the 4-minute mile. For thousands of years, experts claimed it was physically impossible for humans to run a mile in under 4 minutes. They had scientific proof. They had medical evidence. They had centuries of history backing them up. Then in 1954, Roger Bannister did the impossible. Within just 1 year of Bannister breaking this barrier, 37 other runners also broke the 4-minute mile. The barrier wasn't physical, it was mental. You're facing your own 4-minute mile right now. Maybe it's doubling your income. Maybe it's launching that business. Maybe it's transforming your health. Whatever it is, I want you to understand something profound. The only thing standing between you and that goal is a mental barrier. And mental barriers can be broken. Achievement is not about resources. It's about resourcefulness. Your brain is constantly scanning for evidence to support your beliefs. When you believe something is impossible, your brain finds evidence to support that belief. But when you believe something is possible, that same brain becomes a heat-seeking missile for opportunities. This isn't motivational theory, this is hard science. Research shows that people who believe in their ability to grow and develop what psychologists call a growth mindset consistently outperform those with fixed mindsets, even when they start with less natural ability. The human brain operates on one fundamental principle. Whatever you feed it becomes your reality. When you understand this, really understand it, you realize that your potential isn't determined by your past, your education, or your circumstances. It's determined by your beliefs about what's possible. And speaking of what's possible, let me show you something that will completely transform how you think about your comfort zone. Your comfort zone isn't your friend. It's a prison disguised as a safe house. And the most dangerous thing about this prison, you've decorated it so nicely that you've started calling it home. When a lobster grows, it feels uncomfortable in its shell. It has to break out of that hard shell to grow bigger. The comfort of the old shell would mean certain death. Nature has programmed this simple truth into every living creature. Growth and comfort cannot coexist. We've developed an extraordinary ability to rationalize our comfort zones. I'm just being realistic. We tell ourselves, this is good enough. We whisper in quiet moments. Better safe than sorry becomes our life motto. These seemingly innocent thoughts are actually the bars of our self-imposed prison. I met a woman named Sarah at a seminar in Chicago. For 6 years, she worked at the same desk, in the same position, making the same salary. When I asked her why, her answer was revealing. I'm comfortable here. I know what I'm doing. Besides, the job market is tough. Sound familiar? 3 months later, after breaking free from this mindset, she started her own consulting business. Today, she makes more in a month than she used to make in a year. They shrink. Yes, you heard that right. When you stay in your comfort zone, it doesn't remain the same size. It gets smaller. Every time you avoid a challenge, every time you choose the familiar over growth, your comfort zone contracts. Your world literally becomes smaller. The psychology behind this is fascinating. Our brains are wired to conserve energy and avoid potential threats. This was great when we were cavemen trying to survive. It's devastating when we're modern humans trying to thrive. Your brain's number one job isn't to make you successful. It's to keep you safe. And safe to your brain means familiar. But success, real extraordinary success, lies on the other side of your comfort zone. Always, no exception, every major breakthrough in history was made by someone who was willing to be uncomfortable. Every innovation, every discovery, every achievement started with someone saying, this might not work, but I'm doing it anyway. The cost of staying in your comfort zone isn't just the opportunities you miss. It's the person you never become. It's the skills you never develop. It's the impact you never make. It's the lives you never touch. Right now, in this moment, you have a choice. You can continue living in the familiar prison of your comfort zone, or you can make the decision that millions before you have made, the decision to break free. Because once you understand the 7 principles I'm about to share with you, you'll never look at your limitations the same way again. The difference between where you are and where you could be comes down to 7 fundamental principles. These aren't just theories. They're battle-tested strategies that have created more millionaires, more success stories, and more breakthroughs than any other system I've encountered in 30 years of studying human achievement. Everything changes the moment you make a decision. Not a wish, not a hope, not a maybe, a decision. When you decide with such clarity that your whole body vibrates with certainty, the universe conspires to make it happen. Think about this. Every person in this room has made life-changing decisions before. The decision to get married, to have children, to start a business. When you made those decisions, they weren't maybes, they were absolutes. I remember working with Tom, a sales professional who had been stuck at the same income level for 5 years. The exact moment, he decided that average was no longer acceptable. Everything shifted. He didn't just hope for better results. He decided they were non-negotiable. Within 8 months, he had tripled his income. The decision came first, the how followed. But decision without direction is like a powerful car without a steering wheel. This brings us to clarity of purpose. You must know exactly what you want with crystal clear precision. Vague goals produce vague results. When I ask people what they want, they often say more money or better relationships. But that's like telling a taxi driver you want to go somewhere nice. Your mind is the most sophisticated GPS system ever created, but it needs precise coordinates. Sandra, a client of mine, struggled with this until she got specific. She didn't just want to grow her business. She wanted to help 10,000 women start their own online businesses by 2025. The moment she got clear, opportunities started appearing as if by magic. But it wasn't magic, it was clarity. The third principle is continuous learning. In today's world, if you're not growing, you're dying. Knowledge isn't just power. It's profit, it's freedom, it's security. The most successful people I know read at least 1 book per week. They invest in themselves like others invest in stocks. They understand that the moment you stop learning is the moment you start becoming obsolete. This leads us to strategic discomfort, the 4th principle. Success lives on the other side of discomfort. but not all discomfort is created equal. You need to be strategically uncomfortable. Think of it like working out. Random movement isn't exercise, it's structure. Progressive resistance is every morning, do something that scares you. Make that call you've been avoiding. Have that conversation you've been putting off. Your capacity for achievement expands with every uncomfortable action you take. The fifth principle is measured progress. What gets measured gets improved. Period. The most successful people track everything, their time, their activities, their results. They know their numbers like they know their own name. When you measure something, you can improve it. When you improve something, you can master it. This isn't about perfection. It's about progression. Principle 6 is about accountability systems. Your willpower is limited. Your best intentions will fail without proper systems in place. I'm talking about structures that make success automatic. Like a business owner I worked with struggled with time management until he created a simple accountability system. He hired a coach who called him every morning at 6 a.m. No excuses, no rescheduling. His productivity doubled in 3 weeks. Finally, we come to unwavering persistence. This is what separates the dreamers from the achievers. Anyone can start, champions finish. They persist long after the mood they started in has left them. They understand that the darkness before dawn is always the deepest. Every single success story includes a moment, usually several moments, where giving up seemed like the only logical choice. These 7 principles aren't just steps. They're a complete system for transformation. When you align all 7, you create an unstoppable force. But here's what makes this approach different. You don't have to perfect all 7 at once. You just need to start with 1. Master it, then add another, then another. The question isn't whether these principles work. They've been proven thousands of times over. The question is, are you ready to apply them? Because once you understand how to put these principles into action through the achievement formula I'm about to share with you, everything changes. Success without a system is like trying to build a house without blueprints. You might get lucky, but chances are you'll waste a lot of time and resources. What I'm about to share with you is the exact blueprint used by top achievers worldwide, not theory, but a proven formula that transforms dreams into reality. Your goals must create an emotional earthquake inside you. When you think about them, they should make your heart race. Small goals don't inspire action. If your goals don't scare you a little, they're not big enough. But here's the key most people miss this. It's about emotional connection. Take Robert, one of my most successful clients. He didn't just set a goal to make more money. He set a goal to build a school in his grandmother's village in Africa. Every morning he looked at a picture of that village. Every decision he made was filtered through the lens of that goal. Within 18 months, he had built not 1 school, but 3. The goal wasn't just compelling, it was personal. Now, where most people go wrong with planning, they create to-do lists instead of success maps. A to-do list tells you what to do. A success map shows you who you need to become. Start with your end goal, then work backward. What skills do you need to develop? What relationships do you need to build? What habits do you need to form? Success habits like compound interest for your life, small, consistent actions repeated daily create extraordinary results. The key is to stack your habits. Don't try to change everything at once. Start with 1 keystone habit, usually something you do first thing in the morning. Master it. Then add another, then another. Mark, a struggling entrepreneur, started with just 1 habit, reading for 30 minutes every morning before checking his phone. Within 3 months, he had read 12 books. But more importantly, this single habit created a ripple effect. He started showing up to work earlier. His energy improved, his decision-making got sharper. 1 habit properly placed can transform your entire life. Vision times action equals results. But not just any action, measured action. You need to track your progress like a scientist tracking an experiment. Use what I call the Power Hour system. Every Sunday night, spend 1 hour reviewing your week. What worked? What didn't? Where did you move forward? Where did you stay stuck? The most powerful part of this formula is what I call success triggers. These are environmental cues that make success automatic. Want to exercise in the morning, sleep in your workout clothes, want to read more? Place a book on your pillow. Want to eat healthier? pre-prepare your meals, your environment will either support your goals or sabotage them. Remember Jennifer? She was a talented professional who kept hitting the same income ceiling year after year. We implemented this formula, starting with her morning routine. She created a success station in her home, a dedicated space where she would spend the first 30 minutes of each day planning, visualizing, and reviewing her goals. In 9 months, she doubled her income, not because she worked harder, but because she worked smarter. This formula isn't just about achievement. No, it's about transformation. Because as you apply these principles, something remarkable happens. You don't just achieve your goals, you become a different person. A person capable of achieving even bigger goals. And this is where the real challenge begins. Because as you start seeing results, you'll face obstacles. Not just external obstacles, but internal ones. The kind that make most people quit just before their breakthrough. That's why understanding how to overcome these obstacles is crucial. Every worthwhile achievement in your life will be preceded by a series of challenges that will test your commitment. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail isn't the absence of obstacles. It's their response to them. The size of the obstacle often reveals the size of the opportunity behind it. Think about that. The bigger the challenge, the bigger the potential breakthrough. When you understand this, obstacles stop being stop signs and become signposts pointing toward your next level of achievement. I worked with Kevin, a real estate developer who lost everything in the market crash. His bank account was empty. His confidence was shattered, and his friends had written him off. But Kevin understood something crucial. Failure isn't fatal unless you make it final. He took his experience, what most would call a devastating failure, and turned it into market intelligence. Today, his new company is worth 9 times what his old one was, precisely because of the lessons he learned from his setback. What separates champions from the rest? They expect obstacles. They plan for them. While others are surprised and derailed by challenges, champions understand that resistance is part of the journey, just like a pilot plans for turbulence, successful people plan for setbacks. The key is developing what I call strategic persistence. This isn't blind stubbornness. It's intelligent tenacity. When you hit a wall, you don't just keep hitting it harder. You step back, analyze, adjust, and then move forward again. Sometimes the breakthrough comes from going around under or over the wall, not through it. Take Sarah, who was rejected by 18 banks when seeking funding for her startup. Instead of giving up, she used each rejection as intelligence gathering. She refined her pitch, adjusted her business plan, and strengthened her proposal with each no. Bank number 19 didn't just give her the loan, they became a long-term strategic partner. Mental resilience isn't something you're born with, it's something you build one challenge at a time. It's like developing immunity. Each obstacle you overcome makes you stronger for the next one. The key is to start seeing obstacles not as punishment, but as preparation. Remember this, success is not a straight line. It's a series of advances and setbacks, 2 steps forward and 1 step back. The only way to fail permanently is to stop moving forward. Every single success story includes moments where giving up seemed like the only logical choice. A powerful technique I teach is reframe, refocus, and recommit. When you hit an obstacle, first reframe it as feedback, then refocus on your ultimate goal, not the temporary setback. Finally, recommit to your path forward with even greater determination. This mindset shift changes everything. Because once you understand that obstacles are not stopping points, but stepping stones, you're ready to develop the daily disciplines that turn your biggest goals into inevitable outcomes. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you next. Your life changes the day you understand this truth. Success is not an event. It's a habit. It's not what you do occasionally. That shapes your future. It's what you do daily. The power of daily disciplines is the greatest force for personal transformation I've ever discovered. The most crucial hours of your day are the first 3. Show me your morning routine and I'll show you your future. The highest achievers I've worked with all share one common trait. They own their mornings. They don't check emails. They don't scroll through social media. They don't react to the world's demands. Instead, they direct their energy with laser-like focus. Take Michael, a CEO I coached last year. He was working 80-hour weeks, but feeling stuck. His transformation began when he created what I call a power hour. The first 60 minutes of his day divided into three 20-minute segments: mind, body, and strategy. He meditates, exercises, and reviews his goals. No phone, no distractions. His company's productivity has increased by 40 since implementing this one change. High performance isn't about time management. It's about energy management. You have 24 hours each day, just like everyone else. But energy, that's the game changer. Think of your energy like a battery. Every activity either charges it or drains it. The key is identifying your energy amplifiers, those activities that fill you with vitality, and your energy vampires, those that leave you depleted. Patricia, a top sales executive, discovered that her best deals were closed before 11 a.m. Why? Because that's when her energy peaked. She restructured her entire day around this insight. Now she protects her peak hours like a fortress, scheduling her most important activities during this time. Her income has doubled, but her working hours have actually decreased. Identify, systematize, automate. First, identify the activities that move the needle in your life. Then create systems to ensure these activities happen without fail. Finally, make them so automatic that they become like breathing. The most powerful system I've ever seen is what I call success triggers. These are environmental cues that make your success habits automatic. Want to exercise in the morning? Sleep in your workout clothes? Want to read more? Place a book on your pillow. Want to eat healthier? Pre-prepare your meals. Time mastery comes down to one principle: elimination before optimization. Most people try to manage their time better. Champions eliminate the unnecessary first. They understand that saying no to the good is the only way to say yes to the great. These daily disciplines aren't just about productivity. They're about transformation. Each small action, repeated daily, reshapes not just your schedule, but your identity. You don't have to get everything perfect. You just need to get started. Because once these disciplines become habits, something remarkable happens. Momentum takes over. Success is not about intensity. It's about consistency. When you understand the power of momentum, you realize that the size of your first step doesn't matter nearly as much as the direction and consistency of all your steps combined. Small wins are not small at all. They're the fuel that powers lasting transformation. I discovered this truth working with James, a struggling entrepreneur. Instead of focusing on his end goal of $1 million business, we started with one simple target: making 3 sales calls before 9 a.m. Just 3 calls. Within 30 days, this tiny commitment created a momentum that transformed his entire business. What happens when you focus on small wins? Each success, no matter how minor, releases dopamine in your brain. This creates what scientists call a success loop. Achievement drives motivation, which drives more achievement. It's like a snowball rolling downhill, gathering size and speed with each rotation. When you walk into a dark room and flip the switch, where does the light start? Does it gradually fill the room? No. It floods the entire space instantly. Momentum works the same way. It might take time to build, but once it kicks in, the transformation is immediate and dramatic. Take Angela, who struggled with weight loss for years. Instead of trying another crash diet, we focused on one habit: drinking water first thing in the morning. Just water. This tiny victory created a positive feedback loop. She started wanting to eat better. She naturally became more active. Within 6 months, she had lost 47 pounds. Not through brutal discipline, but through unstoppable momentum. The secret to maintaining this momentum lies in what I call victory rituals. Every night, write down 3 wins from your day. They don't have to be massive achievements. Maybe you made that call you were avoiding. Maybe you stuck to your morning routine. Each time you acknowledge a win, you strengthen your success identity. Momentum has a compound effect, just like money earning interest. Each small victory builds upon the last. But here's the key: you have to track it. Keep a momentum journal. Record your progress. Your mind needs evidence of movement to maintain motivation. The most powerful way to accelerate this momentum is through what I call success stacking. Don't try to change everything at once. Master one habit, then add another, then another. Each new habit builds on the foundation of the last, creating an unstoppable force of positive change. Motivation doesn't create action. Action creates motivation. Don't wait until you feel ready. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Start small, but start now. Because once momentum takes over, the very obstacles that used to stop you become stepping stones to your next level of achievement. And that brings us to the most crucial part of your transformation journey, the part where you take everything you've learned and turn it into immediate, decisive action. Everything we've discussed today, every principle, every strategy, every insight comes down to this moment right now. The moment you decide that your life will never be the same again. Understand the 7 principles of breaking limits. You know the achievement formula. You've learned how to overcome obstacles, master daily disciplines, and build unstoppable momentum. But knowledge isn't power. Knowledge put into action is power. Don't leave this room the same person who walked in. Make a decision right now. Take out your phone, open your calendar, and block out the first hour of tomorrow morning. That's your power hour. That's where your transformation begins. Remember what we discussed about small wins. Your first action step is simple but powerful. Tonight, before you go to bed, write down your 3 most important goals. Make them so clear that they scare you and so personal that they move you. Then tomorrow morning, during your power hour, take 1 decisive action toward each goal. Don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait until you feel ready. The greatest achievers in history started before they felt ready. They started before they had all the answers. They started before the path was clear. Your potential is too valuable to waste. Your dreams are too important to postpone. Your time is too precious to spend living at anything less than your absolute best. This is your moment. This is your time. Everything in your life has prepared you for what you're about to do next. Take these principles, take these strategies, and use them to create a life so extraordinary that people think you're lucky. Remember, the only limits that truly exist are the ones you accept. Now go out there and show the world what you're truly capable of achieving. Thank you, and make today amazing.